Hello everyone, this is Heike and you're watching Stone Cold Coffee Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. I thought we would give the whole whip and chat thing another try today. We have a Lola on the table. You can't see her right now. She's all the way over there. She might come into focus very soon. I'm trying to keep her off this part because this is the sticky part. No, off the table she goes, but I'm pretty sure she will be back. So, hey guys, how have you been? Today is September 9th and it's my first day back at work after 2 weeks vacation, and let me put it that way, I haven't missed it at all. Oh, seriously guys, I haven't. But at least keep your fingers crossed for me. I think there might have come up something that could become a good thing. Let's hope so. And changes will be upon us. So, well, actually there will be changes, which I learned about today. My manager is leaving. Great. Why is it always when I have a manager I actually like that this person decides to switch job or go into early retirement? This is very annoying. But anyway, learned that today. I have another 8 weeks, 9 weeks before he actually leaves the company, and yeah. Times change, I guess. Times change. But his parting present to me might be another job, so that's... I think I wish him all the best. Guys, it's been a very rough first day. I came very close to tell some people where to stick it, quite honestly. Of course I didn't, but I really wanted to. But let's not start this off with complaining about work. Let's talk about this painting. Going to put a picture up right in here now to show you what this actually looks like. So this is one of the blackboard paintings you've probably seen. They are all over Aliexpress. I got mine from the Oly Store. It's a 50 by 67, I think is the official size they sell it by. It's a round drill painting, and I originally did not order it for that purpose, but this is my painting for the Drills and Chills event. If you don't know what that is, I have linked the channels for Tiny Worlds of Wonder and Distracted by Diamonds RB, I think it was, down below. Those two came up with the event. They are the organizers. It's a YouTube and Instagram event, and it is a lot of fun. We are going to do tons of fall and Halloween canvases. So if you have one of those lying around by any chance and haven't started it yet, maybe consider doing it for Drills and Chills and join our little community. So yeah, hi baby. I started this canvas on Friday, so this is day 4 working on it, and I have to say it has been an absolute dream to work on. I have done a painting by the Fuyon store before, and I believe that Fuyon and Oly are actually sister stores, because they sell pretty much the same quality. Their article listings look the same, their packaging is the same, their toolkit is the same. So I'm pretty sure that they are actually one company, 2 stores. And I knew this would be good quality, but it has been a year since I did the Fuyon one, and I'm once again blown away by how great it is. So I've done quite a bit of it already. I'm already nearly... Yeah, hi baby. You're helping so much. I'm nearly halfway done already. And I'm just adoring is something else getting my attention, huh? I'm just adoring working on this. It's so bad that I've actually gone back to the store and checked out what I could order next. Oh, I haven't ordered though. So far I've been strong. So, oh, anyway, as far as first days back to work could go, this was one of the less good ones, let's put it that way. Could have been worse, of course, but yeah. I just don't enjoy what I'm doing right now at all. Which probably, yeah. Let's not talk about this any further. So, how was my vacation? It was pretty quiet. It was full of diamond painting. So first weekend we spent with my parents and my grandmother to celebrate my birthday a little bit. So it wasn't a huge party at all. I haven't had one of those in I think 18 years. But it was good to spend a couple of times there. My actual birthday was actually also some kind of summer party event in the retirement home my grandmother is living now, so we spent all of the afternoon there. And I thought it was actually quite nice, but it's really heartbreaking to see my mom in these situations. I don't know why, and I asked her afterwards, and she says she also doesn't know why, but she starts crying at random and really random points in these types of things. She has told me that this has happened to her, and for example, last year when we first had to put my grandmother in the retirement home, in the elderly care home, was shortly before Christmas, and they did some sort of St. Nicholas party. And she told me back then that it was so sad to see her sit within all these other old people, and she started crying at that. But actually my grandma is quite happy, so I don't know why my mom still has such a big problem with it. It might also be because we are very close to selling my grandmother's home, which she of course knew about. She knew it had to happen. It's just the thing that has to happen to cover costs for her new living situation now, because the insurance is not paying as long as she still has money, and a house is considered money. So yeah, even though that house is worth nothing, literally nothing, but they don't care. Taking a sip to drink. So I think it was actually quite nice. But I saw her at least 3 or 4 times starting to cry. So this is it's really hard to see. But I guess she's just a lot like me. I have a tendency to start crying at things I wouldn't think beforehand I would. So yeah. Yeah, probably close like that. So it was a good weekend. We still had very hot, very summery weather. This is over now. It's cold and it's rainy. I think it's something like 30 degrees Fahrenheit here today. It's very cold. So looks like fall's coming early this year. Although I've seen the forecast, it might go back up a few degrees in the next few days. So let's see how it turns out. Yeah. Other than that, we mostly stayed at home. Didn't do a whole lot of things. Pretty boring vacation, but actually exactly the thing I was looking for. Completed a few diamond paintings. Actually filmed all the final reviews for those today, and they will be up on the channel in the last few days. No unboxings at the moment, but I have a few paintings on the way, rest assured. There was a sale on Aliexpress. And even though it wasn't a big one, there were some coupons and I wanted to use them, and I've gotten a few paintings. Not too many though. And no risky ones. Just from shops, I know. So, how have you been? I hope it has been a good couple of weeks. I originally had a full schedule planned out when to do the videos, and then I didn't have the time to edit them before I went on vacation, and yeah, that's why there were big gaps, and there are still videos coming out now that were supposed to be uploaded and going live during my vacation. But I guess who cares? If you watch it 3 months from now, it's going to be as out of date as it is today. Also, let's hope this is not going to be another one of those WiP and chats I record and then delete. There have been a few of them recently. I don't know why, but I guess for the first two I know why. I didn't have the time to edit them, and then I thought, nope. Not going to do it now. It's been 2 weeks since you recorded those. Do a new one. So, we're doing a new one, even though I have no idea what to talk about, so we're probably going to go back to that tag I started a while ago. There are still a lot of questions to go on that one. So, I've been thinking about adding a bit more diverse content on my channel in the future. I mean, I chose the name Stone Cold Coffee Crafts for a reason. I didn't want to limit myself to diamond painting, and I've mentioned before that I actually am a paper crafter, have been for 10 years now, nearly 11 years now. And I think I would like to incorporate some of that, but honestly, the last 12 months I've basically spent diamond painting and haven't done anything else. But I feel ready now to get back into that a little, to do a little more in that regard, to get a bit more involved with all the other things going on right now. I have witnessed this change in the diamond painting world from diamond painting to adult coloring recently, and found that quite funny. Because I guess I have been adult coloring for the last 11 years as well. I don't know for how long you've been following my channel, if you know this, but I mostly make cards, greeting cards, and I use rubber stamps for that. So, something you have to color in. And it's actually funny to see people discover all this stuff I've already lying around and have had for years and have used, and discover what you can do with it. I personally never thought about doing coloring, as in get a coloring book and color, but I also think it's an awesome hobby. So I've recently heard that some people think it's dumb for an adult to do coloring. Thank you very much. No, it's not. It's actually something which is very relaxing and rewarding, and not everyone likes the same things. I, for example, think it's dumb to run after a ball, but I don't tell anyone who plays football or soccer. I'm from Europe, so when I say football, I mean soccer. That they are dumb because they run after a ball, like a dog. So, if it's your thing, awesome. Do it. I can attest that it's a fun thing to do. It's also a money grave, so be careful, people. You can sink a lot of dough into that one, with all the coloring stuff out there. Especially if you get into Copic markers. So yeah, that's been a fun development. Although I can tell you I'm not going to start buying adult coloring books. I'm going to stick to my stamps. I have another of those. They could fill a whole library of coloring books on their own. I'm probably going to be one boyfriend short if I start that now as well. And we don't want that, do we? He's so helpful carrying heavy things and stuff. So I've been thinking about maybe really, I've talked about this before, but then I've never done anything with it. But I've been thinking about actually incorporating my stamping stuff into my channel. I don't know how you feel about that. Let me know. It's not going to take over, I think, because it's not something I'm doing a whole lot right now. But maybe you're interested. I also have gone back to stitching. This is actually a bit exciting for me because I haven't stitched in so long. And diamond painting actually has inspired me to get back to that, and I have. And it's actually fun. Although I can already say that I'm probably not going to join FlossTube because I can't stitch and talk and concentrate on my stitching and filming at the same time. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of stitching on this channel. Another thing I discovered recently, I absolutely hate beaded cross stitch. I thought it would be fun. I love watching Rachel do, if the camera is shaking, no, that's the cat. I love Rachel do her beaded cross stitch. It's very relaxing, but I tried it myself, and Kat, you're absolutely in my light. I've tried it myself, and I discovered after I think 30 beads or so that I absolutely hate it. So yeah, not that much of a success. So if anyone is interested in a perfectly fine beaded cross-stitch kit with maybe 30 beads on it, message me. We probably can find an arrangement. So there aren't actually many live updates. Like I said, vacation has been boring. Hey kitty, you've decided to come back. And now you probably know why I put a layer of parchment paper over the already done parts of the painting, because she's been doing that. And it gets a lot of cat hair in the little spaces between the drills. And then going back to long sleeves adds, of course, more of that to it. So I think I will spare you the awkward silences and go right back into that 150 random question tag. Or maybe one question first. I have been thinking about things to talk about in WiP and chats, and this year, I think beginning of the year, Stitcherista did her Christmas present recap, I think it was, when she showed this top 100 book poster. And back then she mentioned there was also a movie version of this poster. So I like books, but I know I'm never going to read the books that are on that poster. Some of them I have read, some of them I know I never want to read, and some of them, yeah, no. So I decided, why not go for the movie version? I am a movie person anyway, though I'm not a cineast. I learned that as well. So I got this movie poster, and I am now working my way through it, and sometimes it really is work. And I wonder if you would be interested to hear me talk about the movies I already watched. Because I can totally do that if you want to. There are some movies on there which are supposed to be great masterpieces, and I assume they actually are. I just don't get them because I'm seeing them so long after they came out and were something groundbreaking, and now I can't see why they are groundbreaking. I am looking at you, Godfather. And I was thinking about looking up what made them so great to actually have a better base to talk about the movies, to maybe see in retrospect if I can see it now that I've learned what it's supposed to be. That's so great about this movie I found so super boring. Yes, I'll admit it, I found The Godfather super boring. It was way too long, it was way too chaotic. It was just, no. So I was wondering if you were interested in that. I will admit I have mostly watched so far movies I didn't know yet. I am rewatching all of them except for one. The one movie I'm never going to touch again, no matter what, because this movie killed me the first time I saw it. I mentioned that before, and that was Hachiko. Not going to go back to that movie. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. If you are not suicidal, go to this movie, and afterwards you are. Not going to do it. This movie was actually on recently. Can't remember. It was a few weeks ago. It was on TV. I was channel surfing and I landed on this movie. And I recognized the scene right away. And I screamed at the TV, "Hell no!" and switched channels. And then the boyfriend from the other room called, "What was that?" And I told him, "Hachiko." And he said, "Hell no!" Yeah, this movie has scarred us. Sorry, my voice is doing a bit of weird things. It might be the change in weather, I don't know. It's a bit froggy today. Let's put it that way. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I will do my research first to find out why this movie is actually on the poster. For example, there's one movie on there, Airplane. This movie is so god-awful. It hasn't aged well at all. And I know it's a problem with comedy. Comedy in general doesn't age well. But this movie it's just plain horrible. But at least I get what was so great about this movie, what it invented, because I know that this is the first movie. Yeah, in the style of scary movie, because for me, scary movie was the first movie of that type. This persiflage on a whole genre of movies that I saw. Not that I found it funny, but I saw it at least. And I know that Airplane was the first movie to ever do that. But it's aged so badly. It's really aged so badly that if you have never seen it before and see it for the first time, you are literally sitting in front of the TV, jaw dropped, and you're wondering if you have entered Twilight Zone or what's happening there right now. And I've had this with quite a few very famous, very, very well-loved movies on that list. And I feel a bit sorry about that, so I'm going to do my research first. It's probably not going to change how I feel about the movie as a total, but it should help me understand why it's even on the poster. So if you're interested in hearing me talk about that, I am pretty sure this will fill a few WiP and chats, at least. I can get off a tangent very quickly when I talk about movies. And I actually want to go through this poster quicker than I do right now, because there are a few movies, or quite a few movies on there that I have seen before and love a lot, but I'm keeping those for last. The ones I know I will absolutely love revisiting, I keep for last, so a bit as a treat for myself to have made it through the rest of them, basically. So I really want to get through them. But there are a few I actually can't find anywhere. So really, as in can't buy, can't stream, can't rent. Mostly the very strange ones, if you ask me, like the original Seven Samurai, this super old Japanese movie. I have no idea where I'm supposed to get that one without having to buy it for an insane price, which I'm not going to do because I know I'm not going to like that one. As much as I am a fan of anything Japanese film, not so much, or Asian film, not so much. I've tried Chinese, I've tried Korean, I've tried Japanese. There are a few which I actually like, but most of them, no, they don't really tickle my fancy. So I know that I'm not going to enjoy a Seven Samurai, and without some help, I'm not going to understand what's so great about it. That's why I'm not a cineast. I love movies very much, but I like mostly the more bigger, more entertaining movies better, I guess. There are a few smaller movies I like a lot. But I guess I'm really a mainstream movie watcher. Not always, but no shame. I am not sad to be one of the many people to have contributed to I don't know how many billion-dollar movies Disney has had this year. It means people get paid. It has to be a good thing. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if this would be something you would like to hear. Maybe we can even get some kind of discussion going in the comments. Civil discussion, of course. But I have to say, so far my comment section has been a dream. So I have every trust in you guys that you can keep it civil even if I hate a movie you love. Which might happen. So yeah, I've been jabbering for 27 minutes. I think we are going to go to the tag now. Sorry, cat hair on my nose. The cat has left us. So I noticed that in my last video I actually ended on what I thought was question 70, but it was in fact question 71. So let's go back to the actual question 70 as our first question of the day, and that would be describe your daily wardrobe. My daily wardrobe, it depends on do I go into the office or don't I go into the office. If I work from home, it's very casual. I am one of the lucky people who doesn't have to put on real pants. Most of the time it's yoga pants, and I'm not ashamed of that. Something comfortable, because I'm actually sitting on my desk for 8 hours straight, mostly on the phone or writing emails, so why should I put myself through being fashionable where no one but the cats can see it. When I go out on my own, it's basically jeans and shirt. So nothing special there either. And if I have to go to the office, quite honestly, most of the time that means jeans and shirt as well, just nicer shirts. But I'm pretty much a jeans type of person, and I hope I can stay that way. Because I really don't want to do the whole professional office chic thing. It's not my thing. So, question... I hate these questions. 72. Create a character right now. Give them a name, age, and character description. Nope, not going to do it. Writing is one of my hobbies, but I will admit that creating a character takes me ages. I can't just come up with something on the fly. So I'm not going to try because this is... nope, not going to do it. Sorry. Ask me in a week. What was the last thing you bought? Scented candles, I believe. Yep, I bought some Yankee candles. They arrived on Saturday. So, which did I get? One of the Halloween scents, the apple one. Can't remember now what it's called. Forbidden apple, I think. And one of the barber shops one, the tonic. I already knew the forbidden apple. I had it last year, so I knew I like it. I love Halloween. Halloween is probably my favorite holiday of the year. And it's not even a holiday in Germany. But I just love it. I always have loved it. But what I never liked very much are scented candles for Halloween. Because usually they are either very sweet, but in a blah kind of way. Like candy corn from Yankee Candle would be a good example for that. Or it's a patchouli scent. And patchouli is one of these smells, or I should say scents, but for me it's a smell. It really smells. That I absolutely can't stand. Once upon a time, I was part of the whole gothic thing. It was just what you did in the 90s, I guess. And I went to Renaissance fairs and stuff like that. And those were pretty much visited by the same leaning towards metal and gothic audience I belonged to, and patchouli was always a big thing in both, and it smells so like cemetery. it's just the embodiment of cemetery for me, and I absolutely can't stand it. It's horrible. So, which is why I always have an issue with buying anything scented for Halloween, to get back to where I started. And last year I discovered Forbidden Apple from Yankee Candle, and it's actually only don't. She nearly threw my container over, and it's one of these big ones. So better closing it up. It's a surprisingly fresh apple scent, so it's not really Halloween if you ask me. I think it's supposed to be apple and a bit of candy, but I'm not sure. But I liked it, so I thought it would be back this year. And I don't know if it's officially back, because I haven't found it in every shop that sells Yankee Candle over here. But I got that one. And the second one I tried, and this is a new one this year, and I think it's called Sweet Seduction. It's a vanilla caramel kind of scent. It's actually nice. I don't know if I'm going to be a huge fan of it, but it's nicer than the usual fare. So that was my last purchase, Yankee Candles. I actually have one nearly next to me. Not too close because the cat, but on the shelf next to me, it's the... I guess they have started something new this year. They have a scent of the year thing, and it's the one for this year called One Together. It's okay. I find it very blah, quite honestly, but at least it doesn't stink. Which is always an issue I have when they come out with new scents. I like to get either the tarts or the sampler candles just to test the scent, because quite often what I imagine reading the description doesn't really fit what it actually smells like when it's here. So things that sound really good actually smell horrible. And this one was one of them where I thought it could be good, could also be horrible. But this actually only comes in big sizes, at least here. So there's no tart. There's no sampler. There's only the big jar, or the, I think it's a double wick tumbler candle. So both are very big. So I decided I am going to take a chance and hope for the best. It's okay. It's not something that absolutely knocks you over, but it's also not something I find super spectacular. So I'm not going to get more of that. No, but the man hasn't complained, so that's always a good thing. Sometimes when he comes home from work and I've had a candle on, he goes, "Oh, what is that smell? Why is that smell? Make it stop." So yeah, long answer to an easy question. Have you ever bought a CD? What band was it for? Oh boy, I'm getting so old. I find this question super ridiculous. Yes, of course, I've ever bought a CD. I've actually bought hundreds of CDs. I haven't bought a physical CD in a few years now. Yes, even I have moved over to digital, mainly due to space reasons. I just can't fit all those stuff into my apartment any longer. Yeah, but I've bought so many over the years. I actually also owned, once upon a time, cassette tapes. That's how old I am. So go figure. What band was it for? Oh, don't laugh at me, but I think my absolutely very first CD, but I didn't buy that one because I was like 11 years old and I got it from my mother when I got my first CD player, was David Hasselhoff. You might or might not know that Mr. Hasselhoff's music was mostly popular here in Germany. And yeah, I will admit at 11, it was appealing to me as well. Sins of our youth. And what was the first one I ever bought for myself? The first one I bought for myself. Can't remember anymore. Really can't remember anymore. I will have been most of my... yeah, hi baby. Most of the fun stuff I had growing up and as a teenager actually was purchased by my parents. I didn't get a lot of pocket money. And I never had an issue with that, because usually if I asked my parents if I could have something, most of the times they got it for me. So I didn't have to buy a whole lot of stuff using my pocket money. So most of it actually got saved. And I never complained about that. And they never thought they did something wrong. And then I remember, you know what, we don't do credit cards here a whole lot. But something that came up when I was around 10, I believe, was to get your kid a bank account like the one you had for your salary, and they could actually go to the bank and withdraw money from it and basically learn how to manage a bank account. So they would know how to do it once they were grown up. And it was especially called the pocket money bank account. So pretty much the only income you had on this was the pocket money your parents gave you. And I got that, and I started out with 20 Deutsche Mark, which is about $10 a month. And I think for the longest time, way up when I was 14, 15, I got 30 Deutsche Mark per month. And I never thought anything about that because I actually had nothing to spend it on. And then my parents decided they had to increase it a little because I was already 14 or 15 or something like that. And they wanted to increase it to 50. And then the bank manager actually told them, this is very low for a child of that age. And they were flabbergasted. But so was I, quite honestly. Because I've never perceived it to be as too little. I knew that some of my classmates got a lot more, but on the other hand, they also had to buy their own clothes and stuff like that. So that was never something I had to do. As long as what I wanted to have was reasonable, my parents paid for that. And it wasn't the worst exercise in how to learn to save money either. I think increasing your spending money was actually what brought me to spending more in the end. So it's the first world problem I have now. I just have too much money I can freely spend on stuff, which is what I do. Yeah, poor me, I know. So that still doesn't answer the question which band it was for, but it probably answers the question why I can't remember which one was the first one I bought for myself. It didn't happen. It happened for quite a few years. Describe your perfect ice cream sundae. Most of the times I don't really do sundaes. I just grab a pint of ice cream, mostly it's Ben & Jerry's, and I eat it from the tub. Because usually I get chocolate fudge brownie, which is chocolate ice cream with chocolate brownie, and my weird boyfriend thinks there's such a thing as too much chocolate, and he doesn't like that particular type of Ben & Jerry's, so it's all mine to eat straight from the tub. But I don't bother creating sundaes and putting stuff on it and stuff like that. So I guess I don't have a perfect one. If you could make anything happen right now with no cost, trouble, or obstacles, what would you do? Probably buy my own house. That's something I would really like to do, and what I really have been wanting to do for quite some time, but it's also something that will never happen. It's just too expensive where we live right now, even with 2 salaries, no kids. We just can't afford it. And this is really a sad thing to say, because 30 years ago, of course adjusted for inflation with the income we have, people would have really questioned our state of mind for still renting. And now if you look at the prices of houses, and especially of plots, it's mostly the land here is as expensive as the house you would have to put on it. So the land is pretty much half the price of what you have to invest into a house. This is really, it's crazy. And we would never be able to pay all that back within the time we have left before we retire, which, all things considered, are still a couple of decades plus. In my case, I actually still dream of retiring at 65. So that would mean I only have 27 years left. And that is not enough time to pay the mortgage on a house for us, which is super sad. So if I could do anything without having to worry about that, I would buy a house. What are some of your favorite physical activities to do? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm absolutely the physical activity type of girl. I don't play sports. I think I've talked about this before. And I have to admit, in the last year or so, I have pretty much become a total hermit. And I am either working or crafting. So this is a really bad habit, and I know I have to break it sooner or later. But right now, I would say the answer to what is your favorite physical activity is no. Shame on me, I know. What were some of your favorite shows as a kid? As a kid, I didn't watch a whole lot of TV, but as a small kid, I guess, I loved to watch a German educational show here, which is called The Show with the Mouse, which was always on Sunday mornings at 11:30 to 12. And it was pretty much a more grown-up version of Sesame Street, I guess. So they actually do little films showing how certain things work or how things are made. Still remember right after Chernobyl, they showed what a nuclear plant actually does, how it works, why it's dangerous, what's going on in the Ukraine, and why it will affect us as well, even though the Ukraine is not exactly a neighboring country to Germany and stuff like that. So it's a sciencey show, but for kids of a very young age. And I have watched this show probably starting around the age of 3 or 4. And I sometimes do to this day. It's still on. Still on. And then what else was there? There were the first anime style cartoon series like Heidi and Niels Holgersson, which at the time, of course, I didn't know, but they were produced in Japan. That's why they look like that. I watched those. Hey, baby girl. And when I got a bit older and we finally got cable, this was around the time I was 13, I believe, and that was a ghost drill. Yeah, hi. I started watching a lot of anime shows because that's when I first had a chance to watch cable TV. And there was a TV station that showed animes all afternoon. So I saw things like Sailor Moon and... Sorry, taking a drink and trying to wipe the cat's ass. Sailor Moon, Georgie, Lady Oscar, Saber Rider was always a favorite of mine. I actually own the DVDs. I know, nerd. So that's what I watched in my later childhood. But we didn't have... Oh, what I watched was Disney Club, which was on Saturday afternoon. And then the rerun was on very, very early Sunday morning. I watched this as well on Saturday as on Sunday. Weird. But this was basically the only Disney we had at the time. So we didn't have a Disney Channel or anything like that. It It was only these 3 hours, I believe it was, on Saturday. The good thing was we didn't have the TV on all the time like kids today do sometimes. Although, quite honestly, my parents already knew how to use the TV as a babysitter. So back in that time, they still both used to work on Saturdays. So my mother pretty much every Saturday morning and my father every other Saturday morning. And my mother would go and rent a couple of movies for me when I was home alone on these Saturday mornings. And I would watch them. That's, for example, one of the reasons why I knew Labyrinth, and I absolutely adore Labyrinth, but I never watched The Dark Crystal until maybe 2 years ago. And that's another case. I absolutely adore Labyrinth. I found Dark Crystal to be horribly boring. I think it's because it's completely puppets, and it's also very dark, and it feels sometimes very disjointed. It has a very strange hero I could never connect with, because he's actually pretty much... What does he actually do? Why is he a hero? So I think that's the reason why I never connected to that. And Labyrinth actually had Jennifer Connelly and, of course, the great David Bowie and his special pants. And I still to this day revisit this movie regularly. That was, for example, one of the movies my mother rented for me. I don't know if she knew what it is. I'm pretty sure she just went into the rental shop and picked what looked best from the cover. Because my parents were never much into movies. They aren't to this day. So, describe how you would survive the zombie apocalypse. Well, this is a very easy question to answer, because I have seen the perfect survival guide for that. I would, of course, go to the pub. The whole zombie thing completely eludes me. I have no interest in that whatsoever. But there are 2 zombie movies I saw before the whole hype and wholeheartedly loved. Quite obviously, the first one is Shaun of the Dead, because I go to the pub, of course. And the other one, I don't know if you've ever seen that one. The other one is Fido. I absolutely adore that movie. But Shaun of the Dead, of course, there's nothing better than this movie. And this is how I would survive the apocalypse. I would go to the pub. What are some things you shouldn't say at work? There are quite a few things I or any other person should ever say at work. But they are mainly rude, offensive, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic. Is there actually a thing like Christian phobic? Pretty much religious phobic of any kind. Regular stuff any decent people shouldn't say. I can't say at work. I probably should also not say my employer is a bunch of buttholes and I hate their guts and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, decent things allowed. Idiotic things getting you fired. Like it's probably nearly everywhere. If you were told that if you killed someone, you would save 100 people, would you do it? I don't know. I don't think so. But who knows what you're capable of if you get in such a extreme situation. No idea. What an odd question. How's the weather right now? Cold, rainy, pretty gloomy. It hasn't been fully light all day. Overall, not much of a fan. And it's very early for the weather to be like that. What is the background on your cell phone right now? Well, let me show you. I have two. I have my work phone, and you can see my background is Iron Man. And I'm still amazed they let me do this. Because my work phone is actually company managed, so they have access to this phone. And they have removed apps in the past that were allowed but are no longer allowed. For example, we were allowed to use WhatsApp. We are no longer, so they have removed it. But I'm allowed not to use the company phone background. And the other one I can't show you because I'm using it as a camera right now. But it's one of the iPhone standard backgrounds. It's this blue purple color burst. So if you have an iPhone, check your pre-installed backgrounds. It's in there. Is it better to work at a job that you love or a job that pays well? I have no idea. I've never worked a job that I loved. I've only ever worked a job that pays well because I had to. For a long time, I was the only breadwinner in the family. And someone has to pay the rent and the food and the insurances and sometimes other stuff. So I actually never had the choice, quite honestly. I guess not being able to pay the bills is probably stress on its own. I guess the ideal solution would be to do something you love and that pays the bills. So yeah, no idea. I've always been in the job I am in right now. It has always paid very well. It has never been what I wanted to do with my life, but that's how it is. And that's probably how it's going to stay. And we are going to make our peace with that. What do you have within arm's reach of your bed? My bedside table, and on that bedside table is my lamp. There is a tube of hand cream. There is a rubber mat thingy I put my phone on in the night because I've had the cats drop my phone during the night, and our bed is actually very high, and therefore my bedside table is very high. And we have hard floors in the bedroom, so I don't want that to happen again. That phone was expensive. So that's on there. A pack of tissue papers is on there. And then, of course, whatever is in my little slidey thingies. I lost the word for this. Sorry. Well, you know what I mean. The cabinets. Is it cabinets? I have no idea. Whatever's in there. So I actually don't know what all is in there. I should probably clean it out. No sex toys though. Where was I? Have you ever been fired from a job? If so, why? Nope, haven't. Still on my first real job right now, and I've had a few jobs during school, but I never got fired from any of them. Nope. Always a good girl. Have you ever won a trophy, prize, or medal? If so, for what? I'm not very competitive. I think I've talked about that before, especially not in sports. That was always what killed my fun with any sport I tried to do. But back when I was in school, we still had these sports days that were actually mandated, and you had to participate. It was mandatory, and these were usually the worst days of my life. And because it was running, jumping, throwing a ball, and there were certain things you had to achieve to be within the whatever was considered to be normal for your age group, and I never was. And I know that one year, I don't know why, I ran as slow as I always did. My ball throwing was as horrible as it always was, but for whatever reason I got in one very good jump. And I managed to get, instead of just the participant, oh Jesus, I'm so out of words, certificate. I got a winner's certificate. So everyone got the participant one, but only if you managed to be better than the average. Points wise, you got a winner's one, and because of that jump I actually managed that. I never could replicate that afterwards ever again, but yeah. Yeah, these things were just... Sometimes I wonder why they can't just let kids have fun. I mean, if you have a kid that's very good in sports and likes to be competitive, so be it, but don't lose the other kids that are not that good at playing sports, but still find some fun at it, and not compare them to the much better kids and ruin all the fun they might have, because that's what happened to me. And I never could convince myself to get back into the game. And then they complain about stuff that you don't have enough exercise and child obesity, and yeah, then don't destroy the confidence of the kid when they are 5 years old. It might help. Just saying. Do you have any posters, pictures, or art hanging on your walls in your room? No posters, no photos. I think that's what they mean by pictures, right? And no art. I have a couple of things hanging here in my craft room, which other people made for me. I guess you could call that art, but it's, it's a few crafted things. But I still haven't put up anything else. I want to, and I've bought quite a bit of artwork in the last couple of years in form of prints, art prints, but I still haven't put anything up. I still plan to put up some diamond paintings in the living room, my Anna Dittman paintings mostly. But on the other hand, I actually enjoy my bare walls as well. I'm a bit weird, I know. But we have so much furniture and our place is actually not super big. So it's not a bad thing that the walls aren't completely covered in pictures and artwork and stuff like that, I think. I Are you afraid of the dark? If so, why? No, I'm not. I also never have been, as far as I know. What is something that you've never done but would like to try? And I think we are going to make this the last question. We are just past the hour mark. Sometimes something I've never done but I'd like to try. Probably something creative. Something that always interested me, and I was actually thinking about learning that trade when I was back in school, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, if I wanted to get an office job or actually work with my hands, was becoming a goldsmith. And I would very, very much like to try and do that. There are weekend seminars where you can try your hand at some very easy stuff. Well, easy, I guess. Nothing about this is easy. But where you can try and make your own ring, for example. And I think I would really like to try that once, at least. I thought always that it would be fun to make your own wedding rings. That's something you can do. But since I managed to catch a boyfriend who I think will never pop the question, that's probably not going to happen anytime. So yeah, that's probably something that would fit this question. Well, anyway, guys, I think this has been a good one. I might actually edit this one and upload it. And I hope you liked it as well. So we are at question 90 now. I guess 2 more and then we are done with this particular tag. So let me know what you think about my idea to talk about these movies. And I'll compile a list and see how many I've seen already. Try to find out what makes them so great and make them a talking topic for future WiP and chats. Alright, Miss Lola has decided to take a nap. She is probably done bugging me now. Or not, we will see. I hope you liked this WiP and chat. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, you can hit the subscribe button and the bell below. If you are interested, of course, I'm not going to force you to be informed about any future video I put up. And yeah, there's Instagram, there's email, you can leave a comment below. There are so many possible ways to get in contact with me. Feel free to use them if there's anything you would like to talk to me about. And that's it, guys. I will let you go now, and we will talk to each other very soon. Bye, guys.